Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Apollo 7, and welcome to Bronze Stream, where we take a look at pro players and watch them play to figure out the core mechanics of Starcraft II. Hopefully you are new to Starcraft II, because that's the reason why you're here watching the Bronze Stream. If you are a seasoned player of Starcraft II, this is not the stream for you. If you understand what I mean by going a gasless FE, then this is not the stream for you. If you have no idea what I just said, you're in exactly the right place, because what we're going to do, we're going to look at a pro player here in a recent tournament playing another pro player, and we're just going to watch one of the players here, in this case today, the Terran. We're going to try to figure out exactly what are the things that they're building and a little bit of why they're building it. We're not going to be getting into a lot of really deep kind of game crafting or anything like that, or theory crafting. We're just going to break down what are the things he's building and why is he building them and what do they do. We're not going to be able to go through all the units, because not every unit is done in every game like any of our other episodes, but we'll be doing more of these over and over again so that we can watch these players. So today's match is a player against STBomber here as the Red Terran, and then his opponent is SKMC. This game was played at the Red Bull BattleGrounds in Austin, Texas. So definitely go check those out. I'll be having a link later on of exactly where so you can watch that game actually casted. So you can watch the entire game, because we're not going to go through the whole game. So today we're going to be looking at the Terrans. Now why... And then we went through in the Terran episode, like, why someone might want to play a Terran. It's a very mechanical unit. It's the humanoid unit, so we can kind of get an idea of what's going on. So let's just start here in the game. The first thing that we're going to see here is, like all the units, we start with our command center. That's the Terran building. The good luck. From MC, always a very nice guy. Our command center here makes our SCVs. Our SCVs are our main unit. You see these little guys going back and forth collecting minerals. That's what they do. They are the unit that we use to collect minerals from our mineral patches, to collect gas, Vespene gas from our geysers here, and what's used to build all of our units. So our command center makes all of those. What's unique about the command center is that it can change into two different types of buildings. Later on, it can be formed into what we call the orbital command, and we'll look at how that one works, and the planetary fortress. So we see Bomber here has already started to create his very first building with the SCV. Now here with the SCVs, notice the SCV is actively actually building the unit. This building would not complete if the SCV were to die or just to leave. So that's the thing about Terran, is that they lose use of their SCV while a building is being built, but then they get him back. So what he's building right now is what we call a supply depot. A supply depot is Terran's food source. Up here in the upper corner here, we see how much food that the Terran player can have. It can make 19 worth of food. Right now, he only has 12 worth of food. This is what powers his army. Supply depots increase that number. So we're going to see these popping up all over the place, because without the supply depot, the army cannot continue to grow. So you see our little SCV here has already started building our very first production building, our barracks. This is kind of the bread and butter building of the Terran army. This is going to be creating most of the units that we're going to see in this game. Sometimes it's used a lot, sometimes it's used not a lot. Now, one thing you might notice, back to the supply depot here, is the fact that the supply depot can be lowered. Raised and lowered. This is kind of a unique feature to this. Is it's a stationary building. They can't pick it up and move it out of the way, but they can lower it and raise it so that way the army can pass. But here they lift it up so that way MC's little probe here cannot get back in. We can see a little supply depot here started to be built, but he just left it unfinished. So there we go, and so the little SCV started working on that one again, because he's going to need it, because our barracks is done and it starts to make units. The barracks can create 4 different units. There is the Marine. Marine is definitely the infantry of the Terran army. It is a ranged attacker. It can attack both ground and air, and so we usually see a lot of Marines in a battle, because they're very, very versatile. They're very, very quick compared to some other units. It can also make what we call Marauders. Marauders are very heavy units. They can shoot just the ground, but they have a lot of extra armor. We have our Reapers, very unique type unit. We don't see it very, very often. It's a very fast unit that can jump up and down cliffs. So it'd be able to like move up and down this cliff if we had some. And then we have our Ghost. Our Ghost is a kind of a, well, it's a spy, really. He can cloak, he become invisible. He also has some very devastating attacks. So let's see what Bomber here is building over here. He's building another command center. So command centers are very expensive to build, so it's a big investment to go ahead and make a command center. And we want these command centers so that way we can start mining more minerals. But you're going like, well, Apollo 7, like, why is he building? There's no minerals nearby. Those aren't minerals or anything like that. And we're going to see exactly what he's going to be able to do with that here in a little bit. Build another barracks. It's very common for Terrans to have a lot of barracks on there. So that looks different than the last time we looked at it, doesn't it? Yeah. This is now the orbital command. The difference about the commands in the orbital command, it still produces SCVs, just as always. But now it has some new abilities. This guy is the Mule. He is a unit that the orbital command can call down. That is pretty much just an SCV. It doesn't cost any minerals to make a mule, though. It just costs energy. But, as we're going to see here in just a second, they disappear after a while. So you got to make another one. You got to bring down another one. But see, our command center only has so much energy. Only has 8 energy out of 200, and it costs 50 energy to go ahead and make a mule. So, you know, we don't get those very, very often. So. And here we go. One of our Vespene geysers has been taken by a refinery, and so now these SSVs can go back and forth and start collecting Vespene gas. They would use Vespene gas for some of our other units. So let's see what else is building here. So we still got some barracks. There's our command center turning into an orbital command, so that's going to be done here in just a moment. And we have another barracks. We got another barracks. So here you go. So here's some Marines doing some damage to this other unit down here, which we call Stalker. We'll look at those in the Protoss ones. Very, very nice to have a couple extra Marines out there. So what do we got building here? We got a bunker. You know what a bunker is. It's a bunker. It's heavily armored. So, you know, Marines are going to go in there. So, oh my gosh, there's a command center floating. So this is the unique thing about the Terran army, is that most of their buildings can actually lift off and be repositioned someplace else. So here he was able to build the command center up here, and then he's flying it down here, so that way it's safe while it's being built. And so when it's completely done, he can just go ahead and land it and immediately start using it to make SCVs that can start mining. So when we look back at this barracks, we got a new addition to this barracks. A lot of Terran buildings also can have these additional add-ons to it, and these add-ons determine what they make or what they do. So if we notice here, we have our other barracks here. We see we can only make Marines. If on this one though, we now have the option to make Marauders and Reapers. This tech lab allows us to build these additional units. So without them, we can't build those. Here we go. Oh, another ability of the orbital command. Gets a little bit of extra food without having to wait for a supply depot to be finished up. So the tech lab also researches upgrades for the building that they're connected to. So here we have upgrades for these units, for the Marines, the Marauders. Right now he's researching what we call Stimpack. What it's called Stimpack. It's just called Stimpack. And it increases the damage of the Marines and the Marauders at the expense of a little bit of life. Usually a pretty fair trade-off here. So we got some more supply depots down. We have a bunker now that's completely filled up with 4 Marines. So this is going to take a lot of extra damage to actually try to kill. So it's a very nice defensive structure that the Terran player can have. So what is he building? He is building, finally we have another production facility. We have a factory. Before I talk about that, I want to look over at this building over here, the engineering bay. Our engineering bay is our main upgrade building. So we have armor upgrades and armor upgrades and weapons upgrades and upgrades for our buildings, and that all comes from the engineering bay. This will be one of the 2 upgrade buildings that Terran players can have. The other one, like, kind of being just the where to go, like our tech lab connected, gonna get those as upgrades. So here's our factory. Our factory is gonna be making our big mechanical units, things like our Hellions, which are very fast, mobile, fire-breathing go-karts, pretty much. And we have our tanks. It's a tank. It's gonna shoot stuff. It's very slow, very laborious, takes a lot of damage, but it's gonna do a lot of damage. And then our big old Thor, which sadly we're not gonna see in this match, so we're gonna look at that another time. But it's a big, huge mechanical unit. You see, he's creating his own add-on. There's the other type of add-on besides the tech lab that we saw over here. It's called the reactor. What the reactor allows us to do, it allows the building that it's attached to create 2 units at the same time. Now, obviously, the problem with this we run into is that, oh, well, some of these buildings only can make certain units without a tech lab. In this case, like Marines, and over here, it's going to be what we're going to see. Only Hellions can be made. See, we can't make Thors or siege tanks with a reactor. So we'd only be able to make Hellions. Now you see he's doing this swap around. There's that floating buildings again. And now we have a starport. You can probably guess what the starport's used for. It's to make flying things. Yay! Flying things are finally off the ground here. So we have our Vikings. It's Goose and from Hot Shot. Top Gun. Hot Shot was the parody. There we go. Medivacs, heal our units, so that's going to be very important. And then we have, which we can't make right now because we don't have a tech lab on it, Ravens, Banshees, and Battle Cruisers. I wish we'd be able to see these. We're not going to see these in this particular match, though. But here we go. We got 2 Medivacs training at the same time. Costs the same amount, so double the amount of money that you're going to spend, but you can get both of them out at the same time very, very quickly. What are we making over here? We're making another command center. So that way he can then take this command center and either fly it over to another expansion, maybe one of this one or this one over here, or maybe he's just going to use it, turn it into an orbital command, so that way he can get more of those mules that we were looking at before. More command centers, more mules. A lot of minerals to kind of jump into that, but hey, it's definitely can have a strong economic advantage. So here we go. We got some barracks. We got some what are they called? Starports. And here we go. Here is our army. Our army right now is made up of Marines, a couple Marauders, big honking guys, and then our Medivacs. This is a very potent mixture, and a lot of games are won just with this combination. I mean, you didn't see it. You saw it. That's not a very high tech. There's not a whole lot of tech there. Oh yeah, and then here's our floating factory. This is a unique thing that some Terran players do. So that green guy that kind of just spun up there, that is our Stimpak in action. He runs faster. It's used often for scouting, so that way we don't get caught off guard. And I guess he's just going to hang out over there now while we wait. So we wait for our Marine and Marauder mix. So you can see we got lots of supply depots. We're going to need all of those. So that's really going to be about it for this particular battle. This one's going to end here. Just one, but Bomber's not going to really be making a whole lot of other units. He's going to get really not very many other upgrades. He's just going to continue to add on more and more barracks. He likes having tech labs on there and reactors, so that way he can either make multiple Marines or make those Marauders. No Reapers in this particular fight here. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I definitely recommend going and checking out the cast from the Red Bull BattleGrounds of this game, so you can see what it is. This is the very first game of the finals match. So I'm going to leave you with this, and so I hope you guys had fun, and definitely tune in for our other ones. We're going to be looking at some Protoss and some Zerg players from the Red Bull BattleGrounds, and hope to see you soon.